Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Max Velocity weather forecast. And in today's forecast, we'll be going over the massive Arctic blast that could be coming just in time for Christmas. We'll also be talking about a lot of snow that's upcoming over the next 2 weeks, and we'll also be discussing the severe weather that is currently ongoing in parts of the United States today. Let's first begin with what's happening though across the United States today, and really in the big picture, because again, we've had this trough that has brought severe weather, a blizzard even to portions of the central plains, and it is still ongoing here in the United States. Now it's becoming a little bit more disorganized, not nearly as defined as before, but your trough is still up here in the Midwest. It is still bringing a lot of snow to areas in Minnesota all the way back through the Midwest, and it is also impacting still the Dakotas this morning, and that will continue throughout the day today before it starts to let up. More on that later in this forecast. On the East Coast, we're watching another winter storm that is also ongoing into New England. This could bring up to a foot of snow in some areas back up in that direction, and also the severe weather this morning and as well as going into this afternoon that is expected is currently ongoing in Florida. This is bringing that potential for maybe a couple of tornadoes over the next few hours, as there is an additional tornado watch in effect for central Florida until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Again, a couple tornadoes and damaging winds are the main concerns for today. There is a slight risk for severe weather. Back up into the north, really different story here. There's a lot of snow ongoing. We do have winter storm warnings still in effect for a good portion of the Dakotas still, and we also have blizzard warnings still in effect for a little longer over in southwest South Dakota as well as into northern Nebraska, and blizzard warnings ongoing in far northeastern Minnesota. So a lot of snow is still falling here, and it really will continue throughout the day today and as well as into tomorrow morning. So over the future radar, we're really not talking about too much in terms of snow back over near the Great Lakes, but we are talking about a lot more snow activity back over Minnesota. Most of this activity is expected to be on the lighter side of things, so it won't be nearly as heavy as before. Eventually going into tomorrow morning, we'll still be talking about some flurries and light snow into the Midwest, and eventually going to Friday night into Saturday morning, again, some snowflakes out there. You might see a few flurries, light snow, Carolina, a little bit of moderate lake effect snow as well, maybe into the western Michigan area. So overall, a decent amount of snow will come out of this. We're not talking about feet in the Midwest, but we are talking about maybe a few inches of snow. If there's a little bit of lake effect snow though in western Michigan, we could possibly get upwards of a foot in just a very far western area of Michigan near Kalamazoo. So just keep that in mind if you're along the west area of Michigan. But other than that, we're really not talking about anywhere beyond maybe 3 or 4 inches of snow out of this. Another huge event with this same trough is going to bring a huge winter storm, the first of the season really, to the northeast. We have the potential for several inches of snow, and there's also a possibility for some ice accumulation, which has already begun actually. There's ice storm warnings in effect from West Virginia all the way back through southern Pennsylvania. We also have winter storm warnings ongoing in these pink boxes, and there's also winter storm watches in effect in the blue, and as well as the winter weather advisories in those purple boxes. So again, over the next 24 to 48 hours, several inches of snow and potentially a little bit of ice is expected as well. So over the next really 12 hours here this afternoon, we'll still see ongoing potential for some ice accumulation in southern Pennsylvania. So avoid the roadways, stay home if you can. Also, snow will begin in areas like northern Pennsylvania as well as southern New York. By this evening, we'll have snow pick up a lot more going into central New York, back through about areas like Syracuse, and eventually going into the overnight hours, a lot more snow activity is beginning to, or expected to begin, back over in western New England. This could also create the potential for several inches of snow, and then eventually going into Friday morning, we are still going to be talking about a lot of snowfall. It will start to taper off in Pennsylvania, and then it'll start to begin back up in Maine, and eventually going into the evening hours on Friday into Saturday morning. Snow is expected to continue with at least light snow still ongoing by Saturday morning. So at least a couple, it's about a 48-hour event here for a lot of you that are in the Northeast. In terms of snowfall totals, we are talking a really decent amount here. I mean, we're still talking to the potential for 6 to maybe even 12 inches of snow in some areas. Anywhere on those outlying areas, again, there'll be a pretty sharp divide there between rain and snow. So areas in like eastern Massachusetts, for example, will not see a single snowflake. But other than that, again, a very sharp divide in between, 12 inches of snow and really hardly anything at all. Also, the ice accumulation, again, it's going to be most significant across areas like southern Pennsylvania, as well as even into Maryland and whatnot. So again, make sure that you are prepared for this. Again, stay away from the roads if you can at all possible. Now we're going to shift gears into the future. What are we talking about closer to Christmas? Well, the Climate Prediction Center has already posted an outlook for the 6 to 10 day outlook, which is from the 20th to the 24th, as well as another outlook from, I believe, the 23rd to the 28th. And this gives us an idea of what the temperatures might be over that that time frame in the long term. And really, we are expecting well below average temperatures for a lot of you for Christmas, especially in this dark blue area, which is extremely likely that we'll see below average temperatures here as a big Arctic blast is expected to impact the United States. We could see temperatures at the lowest that we've seen all season long, just in time for Christmas. I'm going to go through two computer models here and give you an idea of what we might see. So the European model has been very consistent with bringing a big Arctic blast, especially into the deep south. This is going into really late the 22nd, so late Thursday of next week. This is when we could see a huge cold blast usher in out of Canada, and this could very well bring very cold weather. I'm talking the potential for temperatures to be well below average. If not, this could even be like a record-breaking event if this happens. Now, again, the European model has been consistent with an outlook like this. Now, the GFS model, on the other hand, has been a little bit less consistent. It's been here and there with this cold blast. It does show it'll impact more of the northern states and even potentially into areas like Texas, but not nearly as significantly as the European model. However, we're still several days out, so things will change. I'll keep you updated with the latest as we have a more refined forecast for you. But you're probably wondering, what temperature could we see if the European model actually goes through with this, which again, we're still several days out, so things might change. But this is actually a possibility for temperatures. Again, I don't know if it'll get this cold, especially northern Florida getting close to the teens. It seems a bit unrealistic for this time of the year. However, again, I cannot rule it out at this point because it's been very consistent to this point. And then going into Christmas Eve for high temperatures, this is also a possibility. We could see temperatures still barely getting, not even getting above freezing potentially in areas like Texas. So again, a lot of possibilities here. Things will probably change over the next several days, so we'll keep you posted with the latest, as well as going into this upcoming Wednesday. Seems pretty certain, at least Wednesday morning of this upcoming week, we will probably see temperatures across the United States very cold, sub-zero potentially in portions of the Midwest. Make sure to like button down below, subscribe if you've not already. This forecast is brought to you by Platinum Contracting.